Manager Frank Phillips leading the charge here of his Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies as we welcome you into Tempe Diablo Stadium in the 2017 Msbl World Series, where the Phillies will be taking on the San Antonio Lone Stars. That's Pete Cesario on the right. He was the MVP of the 55 and over championship 3 years ago and pitched 22 innings over a stretch of about 27 hours, and he's one of the legends on this Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies team. I'm Jeff Lowry with APM Video Sports. You get a look at some of the guys that are from the Chicago area, including Mr. Bob Corvus and the team getting set. They have yet to win a ball game through the first two games, and there is the manager of the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies, Frank Phillips.
Cedric Watson, playing with the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. I'd like to shout out to Mr. Siegler, thank him and his family and all the time they give him to start this tournament. I've been coming out here since 1988. Had missed the season. I've been with Gary Firestone with all the other championships and 13 straight Final Fours when he first started. I just want to tell him God bless him and his family and bless this tournament and all the rest of the family and people that participate all over the world. God bless. Thank you. In Jesus' name. Thank you.
All right, Cedric Watson, class act. You're getting a look at the right-hander Richie Figueroa, who won a championship game here a couple of years ago for Dallas-Fort Worth over at Scottsdale Stadium a couple of years ago, and we're set to go for baseball. San Antonio representing the visiting team. Phil will lead things off for the Lone Stars. They come in 2-0 by way of record, and Richie Figueroa's first pitch is bunted up along the third base line. He bare hands, fires a one-hop throw to first, and it gets away from the first baseman. It goes down the line, and the Lone Stars will have a runner at second base, if not more. They throw the ball away, and here's Phil coming to third. No throw, and he is in. A couple of errors on the play. And the Lone Stars have the leadoff hitter aboard, runner at third and nobody out. And the second place hitter is going to be Juan. Called strike on the outside corner. Good pitch by Richie Figueroa. Richie Figueroa sights a sign, he kicks and deals, and here is a high pop-up into left field down the line, and the ball's going to be caught. Nice catch, and it will be deep enough to score the game's first run. So a sacrifice fly off the bat of Juan, and it's 1-0 Lone Stars. And now their third place hitter, Dave, coming up. So a good start for the San Antonio-based team. They come in with a plus now 17 run differential. They had a 6-5 victory in Game 1, and then their last game, a 16-1 victory. They won their first game 6-5. And Pete Cesario doing the catching here today for Richie Figueroa. Good fastball that time, and Dave came up empty-handed. 1-0 Lone Stars. We're in the top of the first inning, and as always, a special thanks to Antone Henley, the fleet-footed center fielder for the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies and the manager of the South Bay Zephyrs. Here's a pop-up at Richard Hillebrand. Has a beat on it, and he makes the basket catch. And that's exactly the way you want to make that play, because it's just so hard to turn that catcher's mitt over. You know, his catcher's mitt's almost like a combination of a catcher's mitt and a first baseman's mitt. So with two down, and the cleanup hitter coming up here for San Antonio. Right-handed hitter against right-handed pitcher. Popped up. It's on the infield. Figueroa giving chase. Nice effort. And it drops in foul. Mark Patterson playing first base here today for the South Bay Zephyrs. We're in the 60 and over Mountain Division. The Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies are defending champions. That come from behind victory last year at Hohokam. Bouncing ball to third. Nice play. Long throw across the diamond, and it is in time, and that'll retire the side. So after the leadoff reached on error, they score one, and after a half an inning of play, the Phillies coming up trailing 1-0. Well, we go now to the bottom half of the first inning. Right-hander delivers, and the first pitch is a called strike. Well, we did not get a starting lineup. We'll give them to you as they come up. This is Angel Olmo, who is one of the most valuable players for this team over the last couple of years, an outstanding defender. Barney is on the mound here for the Texas-based team. It's the Battle of Texas, and the defending 60 and over Mountain champions, the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. Ground ball third, and Olmo is going to be retired 5-3, and there's one down. Now Bobby Graham. Graham was an MVP for this team a couple of years ago, actually for the South Bay Zephyrs. Here's a looper, right field, dropping fast, base hit, and Bobby Graham has the first hit of the day for the Phillies.
Paul Drake.
That'll bring up the man normally playing first base, Paul Drake. Runner at first with one out. We're in the home half of inning number one. Paul Drake, another mainstay on this Dallas-Fort Worth team. And we were talking about the South Bay Zephyrs, led by Antone Henley. Congratulations on a championship at the 55. I believe it was the 55 Cactus Division. That's fouled off and got a piece of Drake at the plate. Bottom half of the first inning. Runner at first base with one out, and Drake goes down the left field line, and that's a fair ball. Here comes Graham to second, and he's going to stay right there. Long single for Paul Drake, and the runners are at first and second, so a couple of hits, and here's Palumbo. First pitch to the cleanup hitter of the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies, and it's taken for ball one. David, one of the top run producers on this Dallas-Fort Worth team. He takes a letter-high fastball for a strike. And that'll even the count on the cleanup hitter at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-0 Lone Stars. They lead it. They're in the field. That's out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. Ready with the next pitch. And Palumbo swings and sends it into right field. This ball is going to be playable. No advancement of the runners, and there's 2 down.
Now batting for the Phillies, number 56, Gabe Mastrangelo.
Gabe Mastrangelo will be the 5th hitter in the lineup here for the manager, the playing manager, Frank Phillips. And here's a little looper in the left field, base hit. The runner is going to be held up at third, Bobby Graham, and the bases are loaded as Mastrangelo comes through.
Number 44, Richie Figueroa.
Now the starting pitcher is Richie Figueroa. So 3 hits and the base is loaded, and Richie goes opposite field, and that ball's going to drop in for a hit. The throw comes back to first. 1 run is in, and the bases will remain loaded, and Richie Figueroa helping his own cause. The starting pitcher here today for Dallas-Fort Worth. And with that base hit, it brings up Antone Henley in a 1-1 tie.
Number 6, Antone Henley.
Starting center fielder here today. Barney's first pitch to him is a called strike, and it's 0-1. Bases loaded, filled with fighting Phillies. And here's a chopper to the right side, and they will get Henley at first base, side retired. They leave them loaded, but they do score the tying run, and at the end of one, we got a tie ball game. Jeff Lowry back here from Tempe Diablo Stadium. Mike B, Vernon, and Mike A will be the next hitters. It's a shame all these players were born without a last name on the Texas Lone Star team, who comes in here 2-0. They've outscored their opponents 22-6 coming in. And a good slider that time by Figueroa with Hillebrand behind the plate. A couple of errors in that first inning on the leadoff hitter, who actually went all the way to third after a soft hit ball back to the mound. Figueroa's throw got away from the first baseman, and then the ball was thrown away again. That is a strike called. And I'll tell you, if Figueroa is getting that pitch this entire game, it's going to be a long, long day for the Lone Stars. Here's a comebacker, tough hop, and all hands are going to be safe. That's going to be an infield hit. That is one of the toughest plays for a pitcher to make. You almost hate to give him a base hit on that, but nonetheless, here's Vernon. First time up for the sixth place hitter. Figueroa is still a little upset he didn't come up with that ball, but you know, your first instincts, your first reaction is that the ball is going to be coming at you a lot faster as the runner takes off, and here goes the throw, and that'll be a stolen base. You think the ball, or you instantly think instinctively that the ball is coming at you faster than it is. And that ball was just not hit all that hard. Well, it's a beautiful morning for our national pastime. Diablo Stadium looking good on this beautiful morning for baseball.
Oh, okay.
And a 1-1 tie. We're in the top of the second inning. And here's a high pop-up. Back a second, and Vernon is going to be retired. Nice backpedaling play by Bobby Graham. And there is one down here in the top half of inning number 2. That'll bring up Mike A. First pitch is high, ball 1. Well, Figueroa's got good velocity. I think with Richie, and I think I've seen him enough times, if he has got good command of the fastball, watch out. Of course, you say that about everybody. As this one has popped up, Bobby Graham, long run, no one's going to get there. A couple of cheap base hits. Runners are at first and second, and here's Bill. He swings and wallops one out into left field for a hit. And it looks like the Lone Stars will go station to station. The bases are loaded. That'll bring Gary to the plate. That's a swing and a foul, and it's 0-1. He bunts one up the first base line. Figueroa's only play will be at first, and he got him. He had to go with a sidearm throw to make the play, and it's 2-1 Lone Stars. So second and third, 2 out. In the Battle of Texas here at Diablo Stadium, it is Game 3 of the 2017 MSBL World Series. That's out of play as Barney batting for the first time, the starting pitcher today for San Antonio. Richie Figueroa kicks and deals. And a high chopper, and this is going to be a foul ball, just foul down the first base line. Mark Patterson playing first base, 2-strike pitch, and this one is tapped to the shortstop, almost got it, And a nice throw to first base. Good job by Patterson staying on the bag, and the side is retired. They score again, and at the end of an inning and a half of baseball, the Phillies trailing the Lone Stars 2-1. This is APN Video Sports, home of the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. Well, speaking of Mark Patterson, he'll start things off, fouling off the first pitch, and that got a piece of the umpire. Here is a fly ball out of play, and it's quickly 0-2 on the first baseman. And a good eye laying off that pitch. It'll be the 8, 9, and 10 hitters here for Frank Phillips and his Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies, the defending champs. Strike 3 called on a well-placed pitch on the outside by Barney, and there's one down. That is his first strikeout of the contest. Giving up 4 hits already. 2-1, the Lone Stars in the red and black tops. Next up for the South Bay Zephyrs. And batting for the first time is John Arnold. Well, John Arnold, 44. You talk about California. Of course, this Dallas-Fort Worth team is made up of a lot of Californians. I always think of one guy, Reginald Martinez Jackson. Probably next to Pete Rose. I would say that Reggie was my favorite player. Grew up in the Cincinnati area and kind of north of there. I mean, like a good 90 minutes or so north of Cincinnati. And, you know, my first 2 years as a baseball fan was 75 and 76. And, shoot, I thought my team was going to win the championship every year, and they've only won since 1976. Ground ball to the right side. And there's quickly 2 down here in the home half of the second inning. The Lone Stars lead it by a score of 2-1. Richie Figueroa's RBI single gave the Phillies their only run, but we're only in the bottom half of inning number 2. Steve Hull will be the batter. And a comebacker to the mound, and Barney's got it. He has a 1-2-3 inning. He has set down 4 in a row, and we now head to the 3rd inning. It's APN's coverage of the 30th annual MSBL World Series. 2-1 Lone Stars. They come to the plate for the 3rd time. First pitch fastball by Figueroa, who's got some good velocity. Well, this is the 2nd time up for Phil. The leadoff hitter reached on an error and then moved to third on another error and scored. And he skies one out to Antone Henley, and actually the left fielder will come on and make the catch, and there's one down. Well, the League of Their Own is here. We're expecting Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell and Tom Hanks later. One down in the inning, and the batter is going to be Juan again. He had a sac fly in that first inning to drive in the game's first run. I believe we got Mitch Eisner playing in left field. Antone Henley is in center. Again, we did not get a starting lineup. I know Coach Phillips was working on that just shortly before the game, and one out, nobody on here in the top of the 3rd inning. And again, a special thanks to Antone Henley and Frank Phillips for setting up today's broadcast. Second place hitter in the batting order for the Lone Stars. And one really battling up there against, I think, one of the hardest throwing right-handers in the 60 and over Mountain Division, Richie Figueroa. He pitched a gem a couple of years ago for the Phillies over at Scottsdale against, I believe it was the Tribe. Here's a ground ball back up the middle and into center field, a base hit. So one has had a couple of quality at-bats in this game as Antone Henley gets it back into the infield. A one-out single, and now the third-place hitter for San Antonio, and he takes the first offering for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Dave popped up to the catcher. Hillebrand making a nice play back in the first inning. 2-1 Lone Stars. Here's a chopper over the mound and in the center field. Another base hit. Back-to-back singles on a couple of balls that, well, you thought maybe at first glance was going to be fielded, but that was a tough play for Olmo, who had to go a long ways ranging to his left. And Hillebrand just saved a wild pitch there. A ball and no strikes to Danny. He grounded out his first and only time up. Lone Stars bat here in the top of the third, leading it 2-1. High fly ball down the left field line. If it's fair, it's trouble, it's foul. 340 down the left field line, and I'll tell you, he gave that ball a good ride. Lone Stars have 4 base hits in total so far, and they have runners at first and second with one man out. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. That is the first strikeout of the day for Richie Figueroa. First strikeout. He hasn't walked a batter and now sets his sights on the 5th place hitter who scored the go-ahead run in Mike B. And he almost got hit by the pitch. He did not like that call. Right-handed hitter, a dangerous hitter at the plate. 2 out, 2 on. And a called strike, letter high fastball. I'll tell you what, if I'm Richie Figueroa and I'm going to get that, if I'm going to get that call from the umpire, I'm staying upstairs a lot. That might have been his thinking there. He tried to throw that one right through Hillebrand. Left it out of the strike zone. Ready with the next one. Left that one high, and it's full count. So the runners will be going. Not a good jump at second, and a line shot left field base hit. They're waving the runner home. They got to play at the plate. Almost throw is waiting for him, and it's in time. 7-6-2 with Hillebrand and a great relay, and the Phillies are out of the inning unscathed. They give up 3 hits, leave 2, and at the end of 2.5 innings of play, the Lone Stars 2, the Phillies 1. You're watching the 30th annual Msbl World Series on APN Sports. 7-6-2 was the way that last out went. We go to the bottom half of the third inning. First up for the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies is going to be Kevin Hagan. And it's slapped to the left side. Nice play by the third baseman. And an easy play to first, 1 down. So that play goes 5-3, and here's Angel Olmo for the second time. Olmo was a part of that tremendous relay that gunned down the lead runner on the base hit by Michael B. last inning, keeping the Lone Stars at bay and scoreless in the top of the third. We're in the bottom half of the third, and Olmo bounces one to the right side. Good job. Ranging to his left is the second baseman, and he'll throw him out for out number 2. So Angel is 0 for 2, and here's Bobby Graham, who singled and scored the only run for the Phillies back in the first inning. And Graham takes a breaking pitch for a called strike, 0-1. That's low. Bobby Graham, who a couple of years ago was the shortstop for the South Bay Zephyrs, playing second base, I think, the last 2 years. We're in the bottom half of the third inning. The Phillies trailing 2-1, and riding on this game is playoff implications. The Phillies truly need a victory here today. And here's a ball hit out in the center field. A nice attempt, but that was trapped. And that'll be a base hit, the second for Bobby Graham. So a 2-out single keeps it alive for Paul Drake, and the center fielder just a bit beside himself. Phil kind of barking at the umpires, but it looked, at least here from our vantage point, like he did trap it. But you know what? I think he had the best view of anybody. This one gets away from the catcher, and that's going to allow the runner to move up 90 feet in the scoring position. And Bobby Graham is representing the tying run, and he's got good wheels out there. So let's see if Paul Drake has a 2-out single in that baseball bat to tie things up here for the Phillies. Home half of the third inning. Checking the runner, the pitch. Not a bad looking pitch right there. I'll tell you what, 9 out of 10 times an umpire in this league is going to give the pitcher that one. And that is outside ball 4. A great at bat by Paul Drake. So now David Palumbo, who flied to right field his first time up, has a chance to tie it up with a base hit. First and second occupied with 1 out. In there for a called strike. Gabe Mastrangelo, the scheduled hitter, on deck. Dave doing a good job behind home plate here for the Lone Stars. And this one, solid contact, center field, base hit. Here comes the runner around third as Phil kind of juggles it, and the throw home will be cut off, and Bobby Graham has tied this game up on a David Palumbo single to center field, and we're tied at 2 here in the bottom half of the third. This rally all started after there was 2 outs. Now Gabe for the second time. He had a base hit back in the first inning. Six hits now in total for the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. I think a win today here could get the Phillies back on track. Remember, they are the defending 60 and over Mountain Division champions. That thrilling victory last year, Gary Firestone and the 2-run double to right center field at Hohokam Park to give his team the lead, and a great finish. Antone Henley corralling the last out in center field. And this one is hit hard and into right field for a base hit. Here's the right fielder up with the ball quickly. Here comes the relay home. It is not in time. Dave's throw down the third, and it gets away. Here comes the second run in. And just like that, it is 4-2 Phillies. And what a clutch hit by Gabe Mastrangelo. So back-to-back 2-out RBI hits for the Phillies. A throwing error on Dave will allow the second run to score. It's a 3-run inning. 7 hits in total now for the Phillies, and here's the man who drove in their first run all the way back in the first inning, Richie Figueroa, the starting pitcher. So let's see if Figueroa can keep it going here. He swings and hits a high, towering fly ball left field. This is going to drop in for a hit, and another run will score. Figueroa has 2 RBI at-bats in 2 tries. He's 2 for 2, and it's now a 5-2 lead for the Phillies. Looking good with Antone Henley at the plate. And he takes a Reggie Jackson-like swing that time. 0-1. So after the first two batters were retired here in the home half of the third, Graham single, Drake walk, Palumbo and Mastrangelo with back-to-back RBI singles, and then Richie Figueroa had an RBI single. So 3 straight RBI hits, and now Antone is going to be hit by a pitch.
Now batting, number 17, Mark Patterson.
Right now, the manager making his way out towards the mound. No pitching change as we come back to live action. And the batter is going to be Mark Patterson, the first baseman. So the bases are full. And nowhere to put number 17, who struck out looking back in the second inning. So it's been a long, long inning here. 8 hits in total now for the Phillies off starting pitcher Barney. He called that a strike. Unbelievable. Don't mind the criticize when that ball was clearly a foot or more inside, and I can't believe he gave him the call. Nonetheless, it keeps the Lone Stars in business. There's the pitch, and that is strike called. Patterson back in there on a couple of borderline pitches. That looked like it could have been borderline balk there. That's outside ball 4. And so now the bases are loaded, and that is going to be all for Barney. He goes 2 2/3. And he will give way to Danny, the cleanup hitter. So Danny is the new pitcher here for San Antonio. 5-2 is the score. 4 runs have come across. 3 RBIs, Palumbo, Mastrangelo, and Figueroa. 1 came in on an error. Here's a ball hit out into left center field. That's going to plate 1 more run. That makes it 6-2. A strong throw to the plate is not in time, and Henley is in. A 2-run hit for John Arnold. I don't know, Antone seems a little perturbed for some reason as he came racing in, still got the wheels, and, well, what a job out there, and it is now 7-2 in the largest lead of the game for the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. Now Steve for the second time. He's 0 for 1. He swings and grounds at the shortstop. That's going to be the only play is at second, and the side is retired. So everybody batted in that inning. And we are heading to the top of the 4th inning from Diablo Stadium. It is now 7-2 Phillies. First up is going to be Vernon for the San Antonio Lone Stars. He fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. 4th inning of work for Richie Figueroa, and here's a drive into right field. That's a long run, nice effort, but it falls in for a base hit. So a leadoff single. This is the 3rd time in 4 tries they've had the leadoff hitter aboard, and the batter is going to be the infamous number 9. 7-2 is our score. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Here's a chopper out in front of the plate. Figueroa bobbles it a couple of times, can't pick it up, and all hands are safe. That's going to actually be the 2nd error of the day on Richie Figueroa. The first 2 have reached, and now a bunt out in front of the plate. Bill's got a sacrifice, and the Lone Stars have 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Now Gary swinging and fouling 1 off to the right side. It's no balls and 1 strike. Gary bounced out 1-3, his first and only time up back in the 2nd inning. 7-2 Phillies lead it here in the top of the 4th inning. Good pitch, 1-2. Well, stay with us. As that one is swung on and fouled, we'll have our award-winning baseball trivia question coming up in another inning. Just outside. Good eye by Gary. And softly hit to Figueroa. He looks back the runners, and everybody gets back. So a nice play that time by Richie Figueroa. 2 down, and here is the starting pitcher for San Antonio, Mr. Barney. Swing and a miss. He comes up empty-handed, 0-1. Good sinker that time by Figueroa. Comes back high. Well, I'll tell you, we have been truly blessed with some outstanding weather for this tournament. So far, fingers crossed, no rainouts. Ready with the next pitch. Good one. Took something off that pitch, outer part of the plate, but needs a strike. And it's grounded up the middle, base hit. Here's Antone Henley, and it gets under the glove of the center fielder. 1 run is going to score. 2 runs are going to score. It'll be an RBI single for Barney. It will be an error on Henley, allowing the 2nd run to score. And all of a sudden, they're right back into the ball game. It's 7-4. Back to the top of the order, and the 3rd time, Phil reached on an error in the 1st and scored on a sac fly by second-place hitter Juan. Runner at first, 2 runs in. Here's a bunt, and no one's going to get to that one. 2 strikes on Phil. San Antonio has 6 hits. They have scored 4 times off Richie Figueroa. And a high pop-up on the infield, shallow left. Angel Olmo takes care of business, and the side is retired. But the damage was done to the tune of 2 runs, and we're heading to home half of the 4th. 7-4 Phillies. This is APN Video Sports. Well, heading now to the bottom half of the 4th inning after the Lonestars put 2 runs up to get a little close. And the high and tight pitch nearly taking off the head, and I think that got a piece of Bob Corvus. And he's going to head down to first base, and maybe it just grazed him enough that it didn't hurt too bad. So Bob, the longtime member of the Chicago North Cubs, and he will have to get a courtesy runner as Frank Phillips always talking it up. It's always a thrill watching these games with Frank Phillips and Antone Henley. Great baseball lovers, and here's a drive out into center field. Phil had it in his glove and could not hold on, and Angel Olmo has a long single here, so the first 2 have reached. Well, the manager, Morale, is out there, and there is a little discrepancy, at least as far as he is concerned. Bob Corvus was added to the bottom of the order. So 1st and 2nd occupied. Phillies clinging to a 3-run lead top of the 5th inning. And Bobby Graham takes low for ball 1. Bobby has singled twice. He has scored. And a good bunt out in front of the plate. And they better hurry. And the throw to first just in time with the second baseman covering. So the sacrifice going 1-4. And we got a batter here for Drake, and this is Mitch Eisner. So Eisner batting for the first time. Drake was a single and a walk and a run scored in the 3rd. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And to be quite honest with you, I think the Phillies may need a few more runs if they're going to win this ball game. Bottom half of the fourth inning. High fly ball left field. Should be deep enough to score the run. The catch is made. It'll come to third, the throw. And Bobby Graham will score, and it is now 8-4 in favor of the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. So Eisner comes off the bench, drives in a run with a sacrifice fly. Danny's going to throw over to third, and the appeal, and they're going to say he did indeed leave in time. So it's 8-4. Lone Stars in the field. First pitch strike to Palumbo. RBI single and a run scored back in the third. He chops one towards the shortstop. And a long way to go, and he will not make the play. And because he didn't knock it down, it's going to allow another run to score. 2 runs are in, and it's 9-4 in favor of the Phillies here in the bottom of the fourth inning. A 2-run fourth extends their lead to 5. Which matches their largest lead of the game, which was 7-2, and now 9-4. Now Gabe. And a bouncing ball to the right side. Gabe lost his footing there, and an easy play for the second baseman. But Dallas-Fort Worth back up by 5 as they counter a 2-run top of the fourth. We head to the fifth. 9-4, Dallas-Fort Worth. Jeff Lowry on the APNvideo.com, and Richie Figueroa now in his 5th inning of work. Has had some struggles, but through 4 innings, he's only given up 2 earned runs. But there's a leadoff single to right field. Juan has been very successful at the plate, a sac fly in the first, and back-to-back singles. That'll bring up the third place hitter and catcher Dave. Dave has popped out and singled. Figueroa in his 5th inning of work, and there goes the runner Hillebrand with a double pump, and that might have cost him. Well, the speedy number 7 getting the stolen base. As I said, Dave is 1 for 2. This is a team that comes in here with a record of 2 wins and no losses. A run differential prior to today's game plus 16. They had a 16-1 victory in their last game. The Phillies losing 9-3 to the Tribe in Game 1 of the series and 10-3 to the Saints in their last game. 2 strikes on Dave as the Lone Stars looking to etch back into this contest. Grounded towards the hole and another base hit out in the left. Runners are at first and second with nobody out. Here's the current pitcher for the Lone Stars, Danny, and he bounces one to short. Almo will take it to the bag for 1. He will throw it on to first. That's a double play. 6-3 and a big double play. Runner at second base moves up 90 feet to third. 2 down, and here's Mike B. Called strike, 0-1. And here's a line drive, center field, Henley with the basket catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left on. And at the end of 4.5, the Phillies in control, 9-4 on APNvideo.com. Richie Figueroa to start things off, bottom half of inning number 5. Time now for our trivia question inning. Since 1974, California or Los Angeles Angels or whatever you want to call them have had 200 hits in a season or more. 4 Angels since 1970 with 200 hits in a season or more. Here's a pop-up in the shallow left field, and this one's going to drop in. And Richie Figueroa is now 3 for 3. That'll bring up Antone Henley. Richie with 3 hits. He has had 2 RBIs, a run scored. Henley looking for his first hit. He has grounded to second, and he has been hit by a pitch. Grounded hard, and right at the first baseman. Step on the bag for one. The tag will have to be applied, and that is a 3-6 double play. Richie was way out of the baseline. And the next batter is going to be Mark Patterson. 2 down. High and tight, ball 1. 9-4 is the score with the Phillies on top here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Our APN Sports Trivia question: 4 Angels with 200 hits in a season or more since 1970. Here's a chopper towards the shortstop. He's up with it, and the long throw is in time, and a good job by the first baseman. They get a double play, and good defense gets them out of the inning. So we are heading to the 6th inning of play, and it's all Phillies at 9-4. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up here for the Lone Stars. First up is Vernon. Singled and run scored his last time up. On a picture-perfect day for our national pastime, and what a pitch that time by Richie Figueroa. Top of the 6th inning, Phillies in the field representing the home team, and they lead at 9-4. And this one is slapped down to third. Nice play. Palumbo's up. He throws. He got him. A sensational job by the Phillies' third baseman and out number 1. That'll bring up Michael A. for the Lone Stars. Coming in with a record of 2 wins and no losses. He has been on base both times. He grounds to Olmo at shortstop, and he will not make a play on it. Well, he did. He throws him out at first. I didn't think he had a chance, and a good job by Angel to stick with it. And then you look over there, you see the runner going a little slow. So with 2 down, nobody on, and Richie Figueroa has shut down his last 4. And the batter is Bill, who has a single and a sacrifice. Top of the 6th inning. Figueroa winds and delivers, and this one is lined and right at the second baseman. He knocks it down. Can he pick it up? He does. He throws. And Arnold even said he was safe. How about that? That's a tough play there. Well, they're going to call it an error, and now a second chance for Graham at second base. And he'll tag the runner coming across. Did he get him? He got him, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 error, 1 left on. We're going to the home half of the 6th inning. From Tempe Diablo Stadium, the Phillies come to the plate with a 5-run lead. John Arnold had a 2-run single his last time up, and what was a 6-run home half of the 3rd inning for the Phillies. And that has paved the way to a 5-run bottom half of the 6th inning lead. John Arnold, and I don't know, I guess we'll see if Steve is going to bat. Steve and Hagan. Hagan was added to the bottom of the order last time round, then Corvus. I'll tell you what, that trivia question, I think I got 1. I got 1 out of the 4. Here is a ball hit down to third. Nice job. Throw on to first in time. Nice play by Gary down at the hot corner. 1 down. And Steve hits one up the middle, and he's got a base hit. Well, Steve is now 1 for 3. Mike Griffin. I think actually Mike. I wonder if that was. I guess that might have been Mike playing second base last time. Here's a ball hit into left field and base hit for Griffin. So the bottom of the order for the Phillies coming through with back-to-back one-out singles. We go back to the top of the order in shortstop Angel Olmo, who singled and scored back in the 5th inning. The Phillies lead it 9-4. It's Game 6, the final game of round-robin play. I'm sorry, Game 3. Game 3. Slapped to short. And that one is kicked around. That'll be an error. So the bases are loaded. And I'll bring up Bobby Graham. All he's done is single twice, scored, and laid down a sacrifice bunt that led to 2 runs in the 5th. So in a way, he has paved the way to 4 runs produced in this game.
18 substituting a second.
Cedric Watson, who had some nice comments to the president of the MSBL. Now time is called. Bobby Graham at the plate, working on a 2-for-2 day with a sacrifice. And he hits one in the air out in the center field, and Phil lines it up. Here's the throw to the plate. It'll be cut off, and a sacrifice fly for Bobby Graham, and the Phillies lead it 10-4. Here's a ball hit to first. And they'll take it to the bag, side retired. But another insurance run as we head to the 7th, Phillies by 6. 7th inning of work for Richie Figueroa. As we go to the top of the 7th inning, here's a ground ball that's not going to be knocked down by the third baseman. I believe that's Bob Riley, who just checked in, and
2-5 to the bottom.
so Barney is aboard as he reaches on an error. And there goes the runner, and an easy stolen base for the courtesy runner. As the Lone Stars bat here in the top of the 7th inning and trailing Richie Figueroa, the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies by a score of 10-4. Figueroa, 3 for 3 at the plate. He has given up 4 runs, only 2 earned so far. And 2-5 takes low, and he is ahead in the count. 3 balls, no strikes. Top of the 7th inning. 10-4, Dallas-Fort Worth in need of a victory. They come in with a record of 0-2 as we play Game 3 of the World Series. And that's high ball 4. And Richie Figueroa has given up a single and a walk to start things off here. First pitch called strike. We go back to the top of the Lone Stars lineup, and here's Phil, who's reached on an error, flied to left, and popped up to shortstop. And he bunts one third base side, and I think all hands are going to be safe. A bunt single for Phil, and the bases are loaded, and the batter is going to be a man who has had 2 hits. Well, nope, they're going to actually take down the guy with a sac fly and 2 singles. And here's Hayes, and Hayes gets hit by a pitch. And right now, I think if you're Frank Phillips, you got to start wondering whether or not to take Richie Figueroa out of the game. He hits a batter with the bases loaded. He has given up a walk, a single in the inning. It's 10-5. And that'll be all for Richie Figueroa. He goes 6+. And we got a new pitcher on the mound, a break in the action, and it's going to be Gabe Mastrangelo. Easy for me to say. And he'll be facing Dave with the bases loaded. So a golden opportunity here for the Lone Stars to climb back into this ball game. They've trailed 7-2, 9-4, and 10-4. And Dave puts a wallop into this one, and it one hops over the fence, but foul. Bases remain loaded with nobody out. Dave has had a pair of singles. He is 2 for 3. Batting here in the top of the 7th inning. Kind of like Phil, the base running out there, got that running lead. You always want that momentum, but then you can't get too far off. Now, if Dave wasn't at the plate, a guy that can drive the ball over the head of Antone Henley, you might see Antone Henley sneak in there. He's done it before. Hammered down the left field line, and it's a fair ball. 1 run is going to score. Good job by the left fielder keeping that ball in front of him. 2 runs are going to score, and all of a sudden the Lone Stars are only down by 3 in the tying run to the plate. 2-run double for Dave. And he is 3 for 4. And the first pitch to Danny, a strike. And he wallops one to left field, and that's foul. 0-2 on Danny. Still nobody out. Runners are at 2nd and 3rd. Low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So it's been a 3-run inning for the Lone Stars. And here's a fly ball in the left. That's dropping, base hit. Boy, they're playing deep, and why not? And now runners are at 1st and 3rd, and the run is in, and it is now 10-8. And still nobody out. And all of a sudden, a 6-run Dallas-Fort Worth lead has been trimmed to 2. Runner will take second, no throw. So Richie Figueroa will be charged for 7 of the 8 runs that have scored. Nice play by Gabe, and he fires on to first, and that's out number 1. Still a tying run at the plate. Here's Vernon, 1 for 3. He had a single and a run scored back in the 4th inning. And that's high and tight, ball 1. And here's a drive into left center field. 1 run is going to score. Good play there by Antone Henley as he kicked it to himself, but it's a 2-run single to left center field by Vernon. And yes, we are tied at 10 apiece. It's a 6-run 7th. I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen 6 runs scored so quickly. So Figueroa charged with giving up 10 hits, 7 runs, and right now 4 earned. So the 6 innings, 4 earned, not bad. But the defense, of course, he made 2 of the errors himself. Here's a chopper. 3rd base, that's a foul ball. Bob Riley down at the hot corner being challenged, 1 out, runner at first base. And a strike called on the inside corner. And Michael A. can't believe it. He goes down on strikes. That's Gabe's first strikeout since coming in. The 5th batter that he has faced, Bill will bat, who reached on an error his last time up. Dallas-Fort Worth has committed 4 errors in this game. That's a strike on a good breaking pitch, and it's 0-1. So 6 runs have come across here in the top of the 7th inning. We're tied at 10. And Mastrangelo a strike away from ending what has been a disastrous 7th for Dallas-Fort Worth. The 0-2 pitch. That's high. Here's the runner on a late break, and he's going to make it. So the go-ahead run is in scoring position for the Lone Stars. And that one is lined foul and out of play. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Now, this game has taken quite a bit of time. I don't know if we're going to actually get a whole 9 innings in unless the 8th just goes by 1, 2, 3. Not a bad-looking pitch right there. 2 strikes on Bill. And he chops one over the mound. And this is probably, let's see, almost got it. He fires to first in time. And another fine defensive play, but the Lone Stars out of San Antonio, Texas, score 6. We go to the home half. We're tied at 10. The 30th annual Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series. Well, getting a wide shot of the stadium. We go to the home half of the 7th inning, and we're starting to run out of time, the 3-hour time limit. I'll tell you what, Danny's done a nice job out there. As we go to the home half of the 6th inning, a couple of shutout innings since coming in relief of Barney. Palumbo is 1 for 3, starting third baseman for the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. Coming to you from Tempe Diablo Stadium, the winter home of the Angels. Here's a nice chopper to the right side. The big Sunday hop, and Dave is retired for the 3rd time in 4 tries. That'll bring up the current pitcher, Gabe Mastrangelo. Danny's first offering is upstairs. Well, the trivia question, and this was a tough one. 4 players in Angels history since 1970 who have had 200 hits or more. Garrett Anderson, Vladimir Guerrero, 200. He did it twice, as this one has popped up and playable for the third baseman, and there's 2 down. So nice job by Gary. 2 out in the inning, and the batter is going to be Richie Figueroa, who is working on a perfect 3 for 3 day at the plate. He hits this one hard into the gap into left center field. That ball's going to go all the way to the wall. Richie Figueroa has a 4 for 4 day, and he has a double with 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and now a chance to get back on top. You got a very tough out here in Antone Henley. Richie Figueroa is 4 for 4 and ball 1 to Antone. He takes a strike and the count is even. Vlad Guerrero did it twice. Garrett Anderson in 2003. Alex Johnson, as this one is grounded back up the middle. This might be a tough play. It's going to be an infield hit. The quick throw to third, and Figueroa is back in safe. So Antone Henley with a 2-out infield hit keeps it alive. Runners are at first and third in a 10-10 tie, bottom of the 7th inning. Henley takes off for second, and he is in without a throw, and that's a stolen base. Now Mark Patterson. Actually, this is going to be Greg Saba. Let's see if Greg Saba can come through with a base hit here, taking all the way. So it's Garrett Anderson, Vlad Guerrero, Alex Johnson, and the all-time single-season leader in Angels history, Darren Erstad. Remember the year in 2000? He had 240 hits. That has popped up, but the first baseman will not make the play. Grounded towards shortstop. They got to make a play at first. The long throw, and they got him. That saves a run. It ends the inning. Fine defensive play by the shortstop, and we are heading to the 8th. 10-10 tie. Jeff Lowry back here from the ballpark. First pitch swinging, fly ball, left field, hit well. That's in there for extra bases. Pete Cesario does a nice job of getting the ball back in, and that's going to be a leadoff double. So Gary with a long double, and he represents the go-ahead run. Second inning of work for Mastrangelo. And the first pitch is swung on and fouled out of play, number 6 at the plate. He is squaring the bunt and lays one down third base side. 0-2. Gabe ready with the 2-strike pitch. And he struck him out swinging with some high heat. That is Gabe's second strikeout of the ball game. Runner at second, the go-ahead run. And there he goes down to third, and he is going to be in without a throw. Aggressive base running for this Lone Star team, who comes in here with a record of 2 wins and no losses. That is their 4th stolen base of the day. They have not been caught stealing yet. That is their 5th stolen base of the day. Out of play. And in the air to right field, and this ball is going to be in there for a hit, and the run will score, and they have taken the lead. It is 11-10 on a base hit to right field. 11-10 is the score here in the top of the 8th inning. This could very well be the final inning. We're coming up on that 3-hour time limit. You can't start a new inning. And there goes the runner down the second base, and that's 6 stolen bases. "14 hits in total now for the Lone Stars. Phil has a base hit. He's been on twice. He has scored twice. He's 1 for 4. Batting here in the top of the 8th inning, a run is in, and the Lone Stars have erased at one point a 10-4 Phillies lead. Fly ball out to Henley. Now drifting back, he makes the catch, spins, fires. They may have a play at third, and they do, and they got him. An outstanding relay was Antone Henley to Olmo on to third base, and the tag applied by Bob Riley. They get a run, take the lead, and we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. An 11-10 lead for San Antonio, and another outstanding defensive play by Antone Henley. All right, this is do or die time. We have been told that no new inning will start. So the Phillies in grave danger of dropping, going up against Danny, who's done a sensational job in relief. And Arnold is going to strike out on 3 straight, throw to first base in time, 1 down. He is working in his 6th, make that 7th inning of work. Here's a shot by Steve out into left field for a base hit. Hit number 16 as the runner goes, and the throw down to second, and the throw actually beat the runner as it goes out into center field. Steve has a stolen base. So the tying run in scoring position. And here's a bunt, third base side, foul ball. Cedric Watson now at the plate, doing whatever he can to get on base here and give his team a chance. That was a pretty good fast. He's got good velocity out there in his 7th inning of work. And he's done a great job of settling things down. Pickoff move at second, and the tag was just late. Boy, a huge break there for the Phillies. Now remember, even if, let's say they tie this thing up, a tie is way better than a loss. Here's a looper to the second baseman, and it's caught, 2 down. So the Lone Stars, 1 out away, and Olmo grounds one to the right side, and it's booted by the second baseman. Here comes a throw to the plate, and it is going to be a wild throw, the second error on the play, and the winning run is at second base in Angel Olmo. A huge break that time for the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies. No RBI on the play, and that is all for Danny. And I'll tell you, he pitched a whale of a game in relief. And here is Bobby Graham with the winning run at second. And I think right now I would be inclined, if I'm the Dallas team, or the San Antonio team, to go ahead and put him on. Then you have a force at any one of the bases. Graham has come through in the clutch time after time after time down through the years in this MSBL World Series tournament. So 10 is out there to try to keep this game at 11 apiece. And there goes the runner. Here's the throw down to third, not in time. And Angel is in, and now anything will score. Graham skies one down the line. This is going to be out of play. Good effort by the two. 2 strikes on Graham. He's trying to go the opposite way. And he hits this one to the right fielder, and the ball is going to be caught. And we are tied at the end of 8. Let's see if we have time for one more inning. It's 11-all from Tempe Diablo Stadium, and that's it. The ball game is over, and it ends in a tie, unfortunately, as the Dallas-Fort Worth Phillies go to no wins, 2 losses, 1 tie, dropping the Lone Stars to 2-0-1. Well, it was an entertaining game. Jeff Lowry saying so long, everybody.